Hello again, everyone. Edwin Lerner back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Saturn square or opposition Pluto in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them, in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, if you have Saturn square or opposite Pluto in the natal chart, there may be a difficulty in terms of concentrating with just Saturn, concentrating on things, with little diversions and distractions on what you have a strong passion and desire for, which is Pluto. Now, if you have, Pluto in Virgo in the 5th house, like I do as an example, the things you have that very strong, intense passion and desire for may be analytical, intellectual, amusement, and enjoyment. It could be extrapolating sports data. Maybe there's organization, ability, in which you truly love and enjoy. It could be, if you have, let's say, Pluto in Libra in the 7th house is another example. There may be strong passion and desire for competition that's connected with balance. It could be like tennis or gymnastics, as some examples. Now, another way that these aspects may manifest in the natal chart is that you may have trouble as far as working laboriously, which is Saturn, in making a major change or transformation, which is Pluto. Pluto is in the 1st house, as an example. There may be some major change or transformation connected the physical body. It may be in one's environment. It may be strongly tied in with new beginnings, new projects or endeavors. Pluto in the 12th house could be some transformation on a spiritual level. Pluto in the 7th could be a major change or transformation in one's relationships. Another thing, too, is that another way these aspects may pan out in the natal chart is that there may be hard to balance activities between the father, which is Saturn, and your intimate connections, which is Pluto. One may conflict with the other. Now, let's say, for example, if Saturn is in Aries, the father may actually be an Aries sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be somebody that's aggressive, assertive, forceful, courageous, combative, maybe abrupt as well, impulsive, impetuous, maybe quick-tempered as well. Now, another thing about these aspects in the natal chart is that there may be a difficulty, sacrifice, which is Neptune, for those for intimate relationships and those who may be in a shared resources scenario with, which is Pluto. Now, a thing about this, let's say, for example, Pluto, say, is in Virgo. Well, those people you're in intimate relationships with, one or more may actually be Virgo, sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply embody the traits of the sign. It could be those that are very punctilious with details, analytical, intellectual, detail-oriented, scrupulous, reliable, but maybe pedantic, maybe overly judgmental and critical as well. Now, another thing about these aspects in the natal chart is that it may be hard for you to express passion and emotional intensity, which is Pluto, for career and work-related matters, which is Saturn. Now, the thing is, let's say if Saturn is in Taurus, as an example, career, work-related matters, may be connected with geology, carpet laying, architecture, agriculture, gardening, cultivation, farming, banking, finance, music, or art. Those career-related matters may be done with a lot of persistence, patience, and perseverance as well. Now, also, too, Saturn square or opposite Pluto in a natal chart may also be expressed in being overly fixated, or it could be fixated or obsessed with those things as well, which I just described for the work-related matters, because Pluto is connected with obsession. Now, another thing too about these aspects in a natal chart is that chronic issues, which is Saturn, excuse me, that you may deal with may have more of like an adverse effect on anything that's Pluto related, including dealing with crisis, shared resources, matters of support, whether it's moral, emotional, or monetary support, than most people. Now, let's say, for example, if Saturn is in the zodiac sign Cancer, there may be chronic issues that are associated with the chest, the breast, the stomach, the ribs. As some examples, Saturn in Gemini may have chronic issues, with the could be the arms, the hands, nerves, issues with breathing, the lungs, as some other examples. And also, too, surgery, which is Pluto, that you may have more of an adverse effect on matters pertaining to responsibilities and attaining success, which is Saturn, than most people. Pluto, say in Scorpio, there may be surgery connected with the colon, the prostate, the bladder, the urinary tract, the reproductive system. Let's say, Saturn is in Scorpio as an example. There may be responsibilities tied in with support. Shared resources may be emphasized. It could be issues with wills, estates, inheritances, dealing, with death, such as funeral arrangements, as some examples. Now, another thing, too, is that Saturn square or opposite Pluto in a natal chart may also manifest in being inauspicious, in terms of having like some resurrection or revival, which is Pluto, of a career, which is Saturn. Now, Saturn is in Leo as an example. There may be some career that one at some point may try to revive, which is if there is an attempt to revive that career, may be tied in, with entertainment or acting or some kind of game production. It could be some party event planning, business, something with cardiology, or work that might involve children or creativity. There are also, with these aspects, there may be trouble as far as being structured and disciplined, which is Saturn, and working toward developing a positive legacy, which is Pluto. Now, let's say, Pluto is in Capricorn, in the 7th house as an example. One may desire to leave some legacy of being very, consistent, disciplined, responsible in terms of one's relationships, or being very, really strongly about being premeditative and having good planning ability. As far as partnerships go, such as a business partnership as an example. It could also be, where these aspects may not be favorable for matters pertaining to support, whether it's moral, emotional, or monetary support. Getting that, in dealing with one's restrictions and limitations, which is Saturn. If Saturn is in the 1st house as an example, you may be strongly tied in, the physical, related, matter of limitation or restriction. Saturn in the 3rd may be more, connected with some issues, limitation or restriction regarding mobility, communication, assimilating or disseminating information. There may be, restrictions or limitations in matters connected, with siblings or cousins or neighbors, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Editor saying stay well.